I looked forward in time, I saw 14,605 futures. Did the price of Bitcoin reach 1 million in any of them? All of them. What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great week so far. It is another beautiful green day in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency land. In fact, yesterday when we were making our video, we were sitting just below the $10,000 level. I put my video out and lo and behold, like an hour later, we pumped over 10K and currently we are sitting above $10,000 again. Now you're seeing a lot of people say this is the last time Bitcoin is ever going above $10,000. Well, we've heard that before, right? Let me know what you think. Do you think we finally breached the $10,000 barrier, or are we probably going to dip down below 10K again? Let me know what you think, but I'm not making any predictions this time around. However, I do want to talk about $60 million worth of Tether that was minted over at the Tether treasury. Now, I want to talk about what this means. A lot of people are like, well, that means they're going to buy the dip. They're going to buy altcoins, buy Bitcoin. They're going to pump the price to the moon. Well, maybe a little bit different this time. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about it. I also want to get into Ethereum and why we've seen, the meteoric rise this year. It has definitely outpaced Bitcoin as of the beginning of the year. I want to talk about why it's had such a rise, why so many people are interested in it, but also the fact that we have sort of seen these attacks and exploits on these DeFi projects, BZX being the most recent. I do want to talk about that. And finally, before we move on, one bill from Congress that actually could look to exclude taxes for certain cryptocurrency transactions. And I'm pretty excited about that one. So if that sounds good to you, we're also going to talk about Bitcoin price, the usual. But if that sounds good, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, well, we do this every single day, and of course, every Monday is the Ledger Nano S giveaway. Drop a comment below, and I'll pick a lucky winner on Monday. Now, giving this a quick refresh live, Bitcoin dominance is sitting actually steady at around 62.5%. Switching to the Bitcoin comparative, you're actually noticing there is more red in the top. So some of those profits that came from the altcoins over the previous little run that we had, some of them are going back into Bitcoin, but we do have some big gainers today still. ABBC Coin, Icon, Algorand, Aeon Maker, Sia, Tezos, DX, and Cosmos all doing quite well today as far as the altcoins are concerned. Yesterday's big news was we did finally have the golden cross. I'm not going to repeat it. We already know this is very, very bullish for Bitcoin. Very, very excited about that moving forward. We've sort of put in this channel you could see right here. We had this ascending wedge. We broke out of it. We are retesting the top of the ascending wedge again right here. However, it does look if we break out of it, we are sort of following this purple channel within the wedge you could see. But ultimately, no matter how you flip it, it does look like the price is going up and up. And the other thing I want to point out is that we do have a lot more volume. You can see this average volume, which is this orange line right here. Even though it has dropped off a little bit recently, overall, the average volume for Bitcoin transactions is up, which is showing that there is a lot more potentially retail, and not just, just the regular traders that have been in crypto for the past 2 years. So that is good to see. Also, we did close the CME futures gap, right? Had a little bit of confusion. The markets were closed on Monday. We didn't really know what that meant. Well, we did break it, and now I guess we can just get rid of this. So I'll just take that out of there. But currently, we are dipping back below it again on futures that was around 10,210. Futures sitting around 10,190. So we do have to take that with a grain of salt. We did have the cross on the daily. We did not have the golden cross on the 200, but we'll take what we can get. We got it on spot, right? Now, talking about the $60 million that was minted at Tether, we did have the CTO of Bitfinex and Tether basically say, hey, chill out. This is just an inventory replenish. Note, this is an authorized but not issued transaction, meaning that this amount will be used as an inventory for next period issuance request. So in a nutshell, what does this mean? Well, essentially, they're just going to have the $60 million on hand in case Tether starts to become really high demand. Now, you could take this as a bit of a negative thing, right? The fact that they're not issuing it out, they're just holding it. Well, why would you demand Tether? Probably if you think the price is going to fall, or if the price does start falling and people want to hop into a stable coin, right? So let me know what you think about this. Usually people get excited when we do have Tether get released. It tends to be a bullish scenario, right? They're going to use the Tether to buy more Bitcoin, which is probably going to pump the price up. But in this case, they're saying we're not distributing it. We're just going to hold it in the treasury and wait for the demand. So kind of could go either way on this one. Let me know what you guys think about that below. But moving on to Bitcoin, guys, we are well above our $9,573 level that I was looking to beat to get above this trend. Very simple. I'm not really going to change my analysis too much. As long as we're above this level, you just can't be bearish. It's very, very difficult to be bearish when you have Bitcoin almost, like over $600 above the level right now currently. So we only have 10 days left in the month. Yes, it is a leap year. We do go to the 29th. But if we could stay above this level, not fall below the $9,600 level for the next 10 days, guys, we broke the trend. We broke the downtrend, and that is amazing moving forward. Now, before we get into the rest, I just want to tell you guys really quick about this bill that's been introduced by U.S. Congress. So they're talking about excluding cryptocurrency transactions worth less than $200 from the tax base. So just a little bit of history. Back in 2014, the IRS defined Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a form of private ownership, right? So accordingly, any transactions must be subject to income tax. We've also seen a lot of people freaking out over tax season with Bitcoin and cryptos, but now congressmen emphasize that this state of affairs prevents the use of digital currencies for payments. They propose that cryptocurrency transactions worth less than $200 should be excluded from the taxable base. So this is pretty cool moving forward. It's definitely going to take a lot of stress off of people. Also looking for merchant adoption. We've seen all these different products coming out, right? We have the backed consumer app potentially coming out, supposed to be coming out by the second quarter of this year, right? So right around the halving, potentially we could have it. So it'd be really cool to be able to use that, transfer it to dollars, make purchases, right, at Starbucks and other places like that, and you don't have to worry about it if it's under $200. So just wanted to kind of point that out before we move on. Now, we have had a bit of a rejection here with Ethereum. You can see right here, we did have the double top, right? We had one right here, two right here. Double tops often do end in rejection, just going to be honest, but we are in a very bullish trend right now. I mean, you could see literally the 200 daily has just absolutely skyrocketed. It looks like it's about to just take off. So once again, if if Ethereum was to have a little bit of a retrace, maybe around to the $270 level, or where we closed out on the daily around the 258, we'll have a look. Obviously, if Bitcoin takes a dump, everything else is going to take a dump. If we continue to move forward, then I think that Ethereum, once we have a little bit of difficulty around the 290, almost $305 level, basically send it, guys. Basically send it. So also speaking about Ethereum, you can see Alex Kruger mentioned that the average ETH volume during the past week has been 4 times larger than the average volume for the second half of 2019. Somebody is buying ETH. We can actually verify that right here on the chart. I mean, you guys could see this is a clear uptrend. I mean, look at it. It's actually at its highest. When was the last time it was this high? Was pretty much July of last year. So definitely a lot of demand for that. But we are having, like I said, that double top right here. So are you buying Ethereum? Are you sitting in altcoins? Are you sitting in Bitcoin? Are you doing nothing? What are you doing right now? Let me know. But we have to be honest. There's been a lot of excitement over Ethereum and like Tezos and other things as well. Tezos also because I think is the proof of stake. But you can see ETH is also being increasingly used in the crypto gaming industry and is the standard platform for non-fungible tokens. However, it has not been all sunshine and rainbows for DeFi. For example, I'm sure you guys have heard about what happened with BZX. Just to fill you in, this is essentially what happened. If you're interested, this might concern you. So basically, they had their second attack using flash loans, okay, on the platform, which allowed an attacker to exploit the platform with a smart contract, which borrows funds with no collateral and then pays them back in the same transaction. So in between the steps of borrowing and paying back the loan, this attacker can execute many steps basically to leverage the decentralized exchanges and the DeFi lending platforms, which are automatically carried out by the smart contracts. And keep in mind, this all happens instantly in one transaction. In the most recent attack, the attacker was able to take advantage of flash loans and place several trades at once, arbitraging the low liquidity of the DEXs and making a handsome profit. So in this case, the attacker borrowed 7,500 ETH. Using half of the ETH, he was able to purchase synthetic USD on another DeFi platform and basically use that as collateral, then took out 900 ETH, pumped SUSD to $1 on low liquidity DEX Kyber network, which had a price Oracle integration with BZX. Afterwards, they borrowed another 6,796 ETH, paid the original loan of 7,500 ETH back, and were able to pocket 2,378 ETH, netting a $630,000 profit. All of this was able to be carried out in one single transaction using a smart contract in a way that the developers did not intend. Now, this might remind you of the famous DAO hack. If you guys are interested, I definitely suggest checking out this interview with Nuggets News. He goes in to talk to Kyle. He is He's the one of the co-founders of BZX and Fulcrum. They go in to explain it more specifically. So what are you going to do, guys? This is what happens. There's a lot of code written. Ethereum has a lot of possibilities. And these things happen, right? These things happen. So, yeah, I mean, you open Pandora's box and you're going to let a lot of things out. So hopefully they fix this moving forward. But the thing is like, first of all, just not congratulations, but my goodness, that really took some ingenious thinking to be able to pull that off. But second of all, yeah, I mean, it was kind of an exploit in the code, in the smart contract. So it wasn't really technically a hack. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think about that. I mean, that is some of the things that you face with DeFi moving forward. And, I do worry because if we see more of these situations, this is the thing that's going to scare the average person. Like, why should I use decentralized finance? If something happens at my bank, I'm FDIC insured, right? If something happens, they just refund me the money. Well, not on DeFi, right? And what if this wasn't even your fault? This was actually the code. So interesting. But if you guys want, I will drop this below from Nuggets News. He goes into the full detail on it. You can also check out Ivan on Tech. He did a recent thing on it as well. But check this guys out. So Coinbase has become the first pure crypto firm approved as a Visa principal member. Right now, keep in mind they did have their card, their Coinbase UK card, launched in 2019. However, principal members of Visa are financial institutions authorized to issue some type of payment cards. So in theory, Coinbase could issue cards to other crypto companies, though it's not clear if they plan to use that power immediately, but they did say that the membership will enable them to offer more features for Coinbase card customers, from additional services to support in more markets. They say all elements that will help to evolve and enrich the cryptocurrency payment experience, and this is just more adoption moving forward, right? We have the Lightning Network being developed for the SDK kit, SDK, which is the kit, software developer kit, right over at Lightning. What am I trying to say right here? Jack Dorsey Square. Then we have Lightning Labs, right? What they're doing. We have the merchant app coming out from Bakkt. Coinbase becoming the first crypto approved Visa principal member. So I still think 2020 is going to be an amazing year for like that jump off for crypto adoption. A lot of people are like, oh, crypto's too complicated. No one's ever going to get into it. Well, I think this is the year of building that sort of stability, that foundation for moving forward, having more people get into crypto, right? But not everybody is convinced. That being, of course, our good old buddy Warren Buffett. Now, he did come out and say that blockchain does have the potential to revolutionize finance. However, he has recently compared Bitcoin to yet another thing, and this time, no, it's not rat poison. It is seashells. Yes, right. Well, let me just basically go into this. He says, we can plant something and harvest it, but Bitcoin cannot capture the value of blockchain. Just because something has value doesn't mean it's a good investment. Okay, Beanie Babies once had a lot of value, right? I get where he's coming from. He says he'd rather buy land than Bitcoin, and he's satisfied with the US dollar system and the protection people get from stocks and equity, not Bitcoin. Keep in mind, this is coming from the fourth richest person in the world. He's made his billions. I don't think he cares at this point. But he did go on to say, I'm sure my grandson would rather inherit my wealth in US dollars. He says the US dollar is able to store value, but Bitcoin is not capable of doing so, and therefore it's not different from a seashell. Now, I just want to mention that we've gone over this volatility of Bitcoin before. In fact, it was 2 videos ago, I believe, that I had that huge clip from Eric Voorhees where he basically went in to say, hey, the difference is the US government, or really any government, comes out and they say, this is the price of our dollar or our euro or whatever, right? This is what it is. This is what it costs, right? That's not the case with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price discovery is found by people, by you, by me. Bitcoin didn't have a price when it came out. Bitcoin just came out. And then one day somebody said, well, I'll buy some of that, right? Don't forget, we paid 20,000 Bitcoin for a pizza at one point. That's crazy. Well, fast forward to today, that would be worth millions of dollars for just a pizza. And that's the beauty of price discovery. You have to consider how low the Bitcoin market cap is. I mean, when you have a look at the overall market cap of all cryptos only being, $300 billion. I mean, let's just talk about Bitcoin alone. Bitcoin being 184 billion. I mean, Jeff Bezos could practically buy pretty much all the Bitcoin if he wanted to, right? So you have to consider when you have things like gold at 7 trillion, forget about going into all the money in the world. I don't want to pull that chart up again, but it is so small. I mean, Bitcoin and crypto is this little tiny bubble in the grand spectrum of all the money in the world. And you have to even think, if we can just get a fraction of that, it will create more stability in the price. The price will not move as much. Eric Voorhees, he was talking about essentially how, when he first got into Bitcoin, Bitcoin used to have 50% swings in a day. 50% swings in a day, right? And then what have we seen in the previous years? We saw 20% swings. Now we're seeing a lot smaller swings, right? 10%. 8%. Maybe in 10 years, it'll only be 2%. Maybe in another 10, Bitcoin will only fluctuate 0.5%. And maybe by the time we're all old and gray, Bitcoin will actually have a stable amount. It'll just, well, I mean, if you take an inflation of the US dollar, it'll probably keep going up. But anyway, you get my point, guys. That being said, though, there are a lot of people that are still concerned. For example, you have cryptocurrency exchanges and regulators are becoming increasingly hostile to digital assets now. This comes to the whole nefarious activities of Bitcoin, even though we all know the dollar is used for really more nefarious activities. But you've seen a lot of people come under scrutiny with these Bitcoin mixers, these tumblers, right? That sort of mix all the Bitcoin around and then redistribute it. Well, they're basically saying that that is a type of money laundering. I mean, you had the CEO over at Coin Ninja, right? He had his mixing software Helix, and yeah, I mean, he got in a lot of trouble for that. Now, they say that there are plenty of legitimate uses for mixers too. For example, if someone received payment for goods or services in Bitcoin, they might want to use a coin mixing service before committing funds to long-term cold storage. Without this additional privacy step, any number of people, like let's say at a company, could see exactly how much cryptocurrency you were holding in that particular cold storage solution. If you just moved it from the company's wallet to your wallet, then everyone at the company could see, right? And what if you want to keep that private? I mean, it's one thing to be like, hey, yes, I got paid, but it's another thing to know how much I got paid. That's not everybody's business, right? It doesn't matter. Like, right, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's your own business how much money you're making, don't you think? So, I mean, that's one situation, but you could see that there are some crypto asset venues that have already been limiting their offers. Binance Singapore actually blocked a user recently for trying to withdraw to one of these mixers. So yeah, I mean, you could see that that is the case right there. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. But they do think that there will be a demand for this moving forward. I mean, but think about cash, though. Isn't cash technically going through a mixer? I mean, if I give somebody like $20 and then they break that $20 and they give me back change, okay, where is that change coming from? Right? I mean, isn't that, aren't you technically like mixing cash every time you go to the store? So yeah, I don't know. That's just what I was thinking moving forward. But anyway, guys, Binance trading has been paused, but by the time you're watching this video, it's probably back open. So old news by now. But that being said, guys, I do have to get off. Today's video has to be a little bit quicker than usual because we are doing a live stream with a special buddy. Check out Twitter for that. It's at the Crypto Zombie. That's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed, turn on the bell. You know the drill. Thank you so much again. My name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. You guys rock. I freaking love you. Stay crypto. And of course, peace out.